The ground shouldn't be shaking. Not here. Not at 2 in the morning. I've stood beside these rails 100 times, boots in the dirt, watching the fog roll across the fields like it's trying to hide something. Nothing ever moves out here. Nothing ever changes. The whole stretch of track is dead, shut down, rusted, swallowed by weeds. But tonight, the steel is humming. I feel it through the soles of my boots first. A soft buzz, too steady to be the wind, too rhythmic to be anything natural. I crouch without thinking and press my palm to the rail. It's cold, ice cold. But underneath that cold metal, something alive is pushing back, a pulse, a thrum, like there's a heart deep inside it, beating up through the steel. I pull my hand away fast. My breath slips out in a trembling white cloud. The fog hangs thick across the line, swallowing the world beyond 10, maybe 15 feet. Everything past that is just blank. I blink into it, waiting for my eyes to adjust. That's when I see it. A glow, a sliver of white cutting through the fog far down the line. It brightens, sharpens, narrows into a beam, a headlight. I freeze. There shouldn't be headlights out here. There shouldn't be anything out here. This track's been dead so long it barely looks like a track anymore. But the light keeps getting bigger, carving a clean path through the fog as if the fog doesn't even exist. A low rumble rolls under me. Then another. Then the rails start to sing, metal grinding, vibrating, rising in pitch until it drills straight into my ribs. "No," I whisper. I don't even mean to say it. It just falls out. The beam flashes once. Then the silhouette hits. A full freight engine bursts through the fog like it's cutting the night open. Massive, black, covered in flame scars and twisted metal. For a second, I can't breathe. The weight of it presses the air out of my lungs. The noise is violent, wheels screaming, steel tearing, the whole world shaking around me. And as it roars past, faces slam against the windows, burned, mouths open, eyes wide like they're still begging for help. I stumble back, boots scraping dirt. The air stinks, smoke, ash, something metallic underneath. My radio crackles, but no voice comes through, just a thin line of static like someone's breathing through the wires. The engine's cab flashes by. A man sits inside, charred black, hands fused to the throttle. His head turns just an inch, like he sees me, and then it's gone. The fog swallows the rest of the cars. The ground stops shaking. The air goes still. When I look down, a thin layer of ash rests on my boots. Fresh. Warm. I swallow hard. My voice barely comes out. If that train is real, then something else out here is too. My name's Lucas Merrin, 37. Night patrol out of the substation near Normal. I've worked the graveyard shift long enough that my body doesn't remember what morning feels like anymore. The world at 2 or 3 in the morning has its own rhythm, slow, empty, quiet in a way that's supposed to be peaceful. It never feels peaceful to me, just quiet enough to hear myself think, and that's the problem. Most nights it's just me, Cole Hargrove, and whatever's left of the stale coffee someone forgot to dump out from the day shift. Cole's been doing this longer than I have. He's the kind of guy who talks like every answer is obvious if you just look hard enough. Good man, though, keeps things grounded for me. He likes to joke that he's the brains and I'm the eyes, but half the time I think he's just trying to make the long hours easier. Jenna's voice fills the empty space more than anything else. Dispatch. She's always calm, even at 1 in the morning when everyone else sounds half asleep. Sometimes I forget what she looks like because I hear her more than I see her. Her voice is part of the landscape at this point. Static, reports, the occasional laugh when Cole says something dumb. It's the closest thing we have to normalcy. I think that's why I stay on nights. Normal isn't something I get during the day. There was an accident a few years back. Not on the job, not even close to the tracks. Different kind of metal, different kind of sound. People kept telling me it wasn't my fault, but that doesn't matter when you're the one replaying it every time the world gets quiet. Night shift keeps me from thinking too much. Or it used to. Even now, when things get tense, I hear something that isn't really there. A faint metallic ring, like two pieces of steel tapping together somewhere in my skull. Doctors call it stress. Cole calls it your brain doing brain things. I call it a warning. I just never knew what it was warning me about. By late afternoon, before my shift starts, the town already feels tired. Leaves piling at the edge of the fields, dust running low across the roads. The kind of place where nothing should surprise you anymore because everything looks like it's been here forever. I drive past the Ruddle farm most evenings on my way in. Old property, wide porch, a sagging fence that somehow never blows over no matter how bad the wind gets. Mr. Ruddle himself is strange, polite, but strange. One night he waved me down as I rolled past, held up a bucket with a thin layer of gray powder at the bottom. Ash, he told me, tapping it, from the line. I told him it was probably from someone burning brush out by the highway. He shook his head before I even finished the sentence. Ash doesn't fall like that, he said. Not unless something's wrong out there. I didn't argue, mostly because it was late and I didn't feel like having a conversation about ghosts with a man holding a bucket. But ever since then, I've noticed it more. Thin patches of ash near the ditch, only on certain evenings, only when the fog gets thick. A couple days before the train showed up, I caught something else. My radio flickered, just for a second, like someone keyed up their mic but didn't speak. Then came this faint scraping noise, a long, slow drag, like metal brushing metal. I checked with Cole. He didn't hear anything. Jenna replayed the logs. Nothing. That night, as I passed the Ruddle farm on patrol, his dog, an old mutt with more fur than sense, started barking like hell toward the tracks. Not at me. Not even in my direction, just straight past the fence, eyes locked on the mile markers. It wouldn't cross the edge of the property, wouldn't go near mile 17, just planted its feet and growled. I wanted to laugh it off, but the sound the dog made, it wasn't fear, it was warning. People around here tell stories about that stretch of track. Not the kind of stories you write down, the kind people pass to each other because they don't want to say them out loud alone. They talk about lights no one can explain, about wind that blows the wrong direction, about ash drifting up from the ground, like smoke remembered something. And they all say the same thing. If you hear anything out there, don't follow it. I used to think it was superstition, but now I'm not so sure. Tonight, the fog's already crawling low across the fields as I pull into my usual route. My shift's barely started, but something in my chest won't settle. That metallic ring in my skull comes and goes, light as a pin tapping glass. Cole asks if I'm good. I tell him, yeah, just tired. He gives me the look that means he doesn't buy it, but he lets it go. Jenna reads out a couple routine calls, noise complaints. A loose cow on County 14. Nothing that matters, nothing that explains why the hairs on my arms keep lifting every time the wind dies. By 1:30, the roads are empty. Even the farms seem to be holding their breath. That uneasy quiet, the same one from last night, sinks in again. So I make a decision, not smart, not careful, but necessary. Before my shift ends, I'm going back out to the tracks. I need to see mile 17 again. I need to know if the ground hums a second time. By a little after midnight, the fog's thick enough that my headlights look like they're drowning in it. The whole stretch of road feels muted, like someone turned the world down a notch. I slow the cruiser as I get closer to the old freight line. Not because I have to, but because something in my gut makes me. And that's when I hear it. A sound I'm not ready for. A train horn. Long, low, dragging through the fog like it's coming from somewhere far past the tree line. I grip the wheel tight. My eyes go straight to the tracks. Nothing there. No light, no movement. Just the same empty rails I've driven past for years. Not again, I mutter. My breath hits the windshield, fogging the glass for a second. The horn comes again, closer this time, closer than it should be. I roll the window down. Cold air hits my face hard. The night smells like damp dirt and old leaves, but under that, something else. A faint burn, like someone scraped a match across sandpaper. I tell myself it's the wind, just wind in the metal. The rails expand, the steel shifts, sound carries weird in fog. I've heard all the explanations, I've used them myself, but none of those excuses feel right now. I thumb my radio. "Dispatch, this is Merrin. You picking up anything on the rail monitors?" There's a crackle, a stutter of static. Then Jenna's voice, clipped and thin. "Rail monitors are offline tonight. Hang on, are you hearing something out there?" "Thought I heard a horn," I say. "Nothing on my end," she replies. "Cole's saying the same, all quiet." I hesitate. My thumb hovers on the mic. "Can you replay the last 30 seconds? A pause, then a soft hum through the radio. Like she's scrubbing through sound. Nothing, just dead air. Static curls at the edge again, sharper this time. A metallic screech cuts through the speaker, short, maybe a second long, like a wheel grinding against warped track. "Jenna, you catch that?" I ask, but she doesn't answer. All I get is static. Dry, thin, like whispers dragging across aluminum. "Lucas, you reading?" Cole's voice breaks through suddenly. "Your radio's freaking out, man." "I'm hearing a lot more than static," I tell him. "What kind of more?" I look toward the tracks again. My throat tightens. "Train horn," I say. But there's no train. There's a long silence on Cole's end, then a sigh. "Come back to the station for a bit. Coffee's fresh." Maybe he never finishes, because that's when the scream hits. A single, sharp sound tearing across the fields from the direction of mile 17. High, human, then cut off like someone ripped it straight out of the air. I slam the cruiser into park. "Cole, did you hear that?" I ask. "Did I? Lucas, what the hell was that?" Jenna cuts in, voice fast. "Is anyone injured? I'm logging the call. Direction?" "Mile 17, I answer, came from the tracks." Another silence. The kind of silence where everyone's holding their breath because they're waiting for the world to make sense again. Then, something new. A soft patter. Tiny taps on the cruiser's hood. Light at first, then steady. I step out slowly, boots crunching gravel. The cold hits harder than before. I hold my hand out, expecting rain. But it's not rain, it's ash. Tiny gray flakes drifting down like snow in slow motion. It coats my sleeve, warm. Fresh, impossible. "Jenna," my voice cracks, "we've got ashfall out here." "I'm not seeing any active fires," she replies, "not within 20 miles. "It's falling on me," I say, "right now." Static flares so loud I flinch. Then her voice returns, strained. "Lucas, get back in the cruiser." I don't move, because something else catches my eye. Down in the ditch beside the tracks, soft impressions in the fallen ash. Footprints, not boots, not animal, human, bare. Each one perfect and deep, like someone stepped into warm sand. I follow them with my eyes. They trail along the ditch, then right up onto the rails themselves. The prints don't smudge the ash. They're made of ash. The edges crumble faintly in the breeze, but hold their shape. And they all face the same direction. toward mile 17. My breath shakes. I lift the radio. Cole, Jenna, I've got footprints here. What kind? Cole asks. Human, I say. Bare, and they're a long pause. I don't want to say it. Saying it makes it real. They're made of ash. Cole swears under his breath. Jenna goes quiet. I take a step toward the tracks. The ground vibrates under me. Not hard, not like last night, but enough to make the ash dance a little on the surface. The metallic ringing in my head pulses once, twice, then everything goes still. Merrin, Jenna says, voice tight, I'm marking you as investigating a possible disturbance, but listen to me. Do not go near that marker alone. I stare down the rail line. Mile 17 is just a darker patch in the fog, a place that shouldn't mean anything, but somehow means everything. Something happened there. Something's still happening there. And standing here isn't going to answer any of my questions. I'm going to check it out, I say. Lucas, Cole snaps, I need to know what's out here. Another rumble rolls under the ground, faint, distant, like a memory of thunder. I tighten my grip on the flashlight, turn toward the rails, and start walking, toward mile 17, toward the scream, toward whatever left those footprints. Because now, I don't think any of this is just in my head. Mile 17 isn't marked on any GPS. You find it by instinct or by mistake. Tonight, I'm not sure which one I'm following. The fog thickens the closer I get. My flashlight cuts maybe 5 feet ahead before the light bends, like the beams getting pushed sideways. The rails run straight into that white wall, disappearing as if something swallowed them whole. The metallic ringing in my head climbs, steady, sharp, too clean to be my nerves. I stop at the marker's post, a rusted metal slab half buried in dirt, the numbers faded almost blank. For a second, everything feels dead still. Then the air folds, not wind, not temperature. The air itself shifts, like a rubber sheet pulled tight, then released. My vision wavers. The trees ripple. The rails flex and straighten again. The ground under my boots buzzes, but not like last night's rumble. This is higher, finer. A vibration inside the vibration. Ash rises off the ground, rises straight upward, not blowing with the breeze, not drifting, lifting, like gravity forgot to finish its job. The flakes swirl and pull into a slow circle around me, tightening with each rotation. My breath catches. Okay, I whisper. Okay, that's not normal. The world tilts, just a degree, just enough. And then the fog brightens, a weak glow far down the line, slowly cutting through the white. A soft hum grows under the rails, louder, heavier, layered, the train, but different. Jenna, I lift the radio. I've got visual. Static slams through the speaker, sharp enough to sting my ear. I drop it with a curse. The fog tears apart ahead like something huge is parting the air. The freight engine emerges. I swear the temperature drops 10 degrees as it rolls toward me. Not fast, slow, deliberate. Its headlights dim, flickering like bulbs choking on dying power. The engine metal is blackened, warped, dripping with shapes that look too much like melted hands, as if something inside tried to claw its way out. The screech of steel grinds across the rails, echoing so loud my teeth ache. Sparks spray from under the wheels, even though it's moving barely more than a crawl. It's stopping, right in front of me. I freeze as the cab draws even with my position. The window is dark, a framed hole in the night. Then something shifts inside. A head, burned, skin charred into a mask, eyes white and wide, glowing like light trapped behind milk. Ray Cottle. He turns. His movements are sharp and wrong, like each bone snaps into position a fraction late. His gaze locks onto mine, and he sees me. I don't breathe. I don't blink. The cold climbs my spine so fast I'd feel my knees buckle. He raises one blackened hand, fused fingers curling around the throttle, and tilts his head by an inch. Like recognition, or accusation, or invitation. The engine hisses, a deep guttural exhale from metal lungs. Then the horn blasts, not forward but down, aimed at me. The sound hits my chest like a physical shove. I stumble backward into the ditch and land hard on packed dirt. The moment I hit the ground, everything changes. The world blinks, brightness, heat, the smell of burning metal, thick, alive, choking. I roll onto my hands and knees. The fog is gone. Firelight flickers off the trees. Wind blasts against my face carrying embers. The year feels wrong. The night feels wrong. I'm not in 2025 anymore. I'm in the loop. The night of the derailment. Screams tear through the air, layered over metal bending and snapping. The freight cars burn bright like lanterns in hell. I duck lower in the ditch until hot wind rips past my back, and then a shape moves beside me. A girl, barefoot, hair half burned, half floating like smoke. Her dress flickers like it can't decide if it's fabric or memory. Lila Gant. She doesn't look at me at first. She stares down the tracks toward the place where the cars are stacked on each other like crushed soda cans. Her movements are slow, repeating, like she's on a playback loop that glitches every few frames. Leela. My voice cracks. She turns. Her eyes are melted at the edges, but the centers hold something human, or were human once. Her mouth opens as if to speak. Static comes out. A soft, broken hiss, then a strangled vowel, then silence. She lifts one hand, points down the line, toward the mile marker, toward the real mile marker, but not the one in my time. Is that where you want me to go? I whisper. She doesn't nod. Her head just twitches forward, like the movement was forced through a damaged wire. A burst of heat hits my face, a new explosion from one of the derailed cars. Metal showers onto the ground. The firelight glints off something in the ditch ahead, a faint shimmer. I follow Lila as she steps forward. Her feet don't disturb the ash. They pass through it, like the ground only half remembers she existed. Behind us, a man's silhouette begins to form near the broken passenger car. He's bent backward at the waist, head dangling, arms reaching out in jerky pulses. He tries to speak or scream. What comes out is wrong. A wet crackle, burned gas static, a voice melting inside its own throat. He reaches toward Lila, but she doesn't react. She keeps moving in her glitching half-walk, half-flicker motion. I force myself to focus. The loop isn't random. The victims aren't chasing me. They're stuck living their last seconds over and over, awareness flickering like dying bulbs. Lila leads me past the smashed passenger windows. Faces press against the broken glass, still mouthing silent pleas. One woman's hands slap the window rhythmically, like she's hitting the same beat she did the night she died. My heartbeat hammers so hard, I feel it in my gums. We reach the marker. Except, it's not the one from my time. This one is newer. Silver. Clean. Like it was bolted in minutes before the crash. The ground beneath it cracks. A faint glow flickers in the soil. Something buried. Something alive inside the dirt. Lila stops and looks down. Static trembles out of her throat again. She crouches, then fades, not disappears. Fades like she's losing signal. I kneel where she knelt. The dirt pulses once, twice. I dig with my hands. The soil is hot, too hot, burning my palms. I pull until something hard bumps my fingertips. A metal edge, melted, warped, still warm. I yank it free. The event recorder core, half the size of a brick. Blackened, fused, cracked down the center, but pulsing pale orange through its fractures like a dying heart. The moment I lift it, the wind reverses. Ash doesn't fall. It rises, swirling upward in violent spirals. The trees around me flicker, present, absent, present again, like the loop's losing stability. And then I feel it. Something out there notices me, not sees me, feels me. The payload. The air compresses. The sound of the burning train deepens into something subhuman, a groaning roar, vibrating through the ground, the rails, the recorder in my hands. The loop tightens. Reality thins, and the world bends inward, pulling me toward the freight cars. The burned conductor appears again, but now he's outside the cab. His form glitches forward in jagged steps like someone's skipping through his existence at random points. Every time he flickers, he's closer. I stumble back, gripping the recorder. My vision doubles. The rail beside me splits into two, then snaps back into one again. The freight car doors begin to peel open, not slide, peel. Metal bending outward like soft clay. Inside, only darkness, a darkness that moves. The payload drags Ash toward itself, spiraling it like a vortex. My boots slide on the dirt as the pull grows stronger, sucking the air, the heat, the noise inward. No! I dig my heel into the ground. No, no, no! A hand grips my wrist. Lila, flickering, barely there, but strong. She pulls hard. Her face flickers between burned and whole, between human and static. Her mouth opens. A single broken word crackles through. Run! The vortex collapses for a second, just a second, but enough. I shove backward, tearing free from the pull. The core in my hand pulses so bright it burns my palm. My knees hit the dirt. My shoulder slams the rail. The world detonates in light. Heat, noise, then silence. When I open my eyes, the fire's gone, the trees are still, the night is whole again, and I'm alone. Holding the melted core in my shaking hands. The loop didn't just show me the past, it tried to take me with it. And I know damn well it's not done, not with me, not with this place, not with whatever I just pulled out of the ground. For a long time, I just sit there in the dirt, clutching the melted recorder core like it's the only solid thing left in the world. My hands won't stop shaking. My breath won't even come steady. Every time I blink, I see the fire again. Faces pressed against glass, bodies folding under steel, the whole night replaying with perfect, cruel precision. But there's something else sitting under all of it. A truth I don't want to name. Not out loud. Not even to myself. What I saw out there, those weren't ghosts. Not spirits. Not hauntings. They were memories. Memories that learned how to live. The derailment didn't just kill 42 people. It carved a hole in reality wide enough for something to crawl through. Something that didn't belong to any of them. Something that didn't die with them. I swallow hard and look down at the recorder core again. The cracks pulse faintly under my thumb, soft orange light bleeding through like dying embers. It shouldn't be warm. It shouldn't be working at all. Half the housing is melted into useless metal. But it's alive. Not electronic alive. Alive, alive. I wipe my palm on my jeans and force myself to breathe. Okay, Lucas, think. The recorder is built to survive disasters, fire, pressure, impact. But this one didn't survive the crash. Something inside it did. I rotate the device slowly. The cracked seam widens just enough to reveal a sliver of the interior. Blackened wires, burned circuits, and under all that, a thin vein of metallic residue, shimmering faintly like liquid steel. The same sound I keep hearing in my head, that ringing, that high metallic note like two rails singing. It's not tinnitus. It never was. It's the core, and it's been calling me. My stomach twists. I push my thumb against the seam and feel the vibration travel up my arm. Small, rhythmic pulses, like a heartbeat that doesn't belong to anything human. A memory loops in my mind, the freight car peeling open in the loop, metal bending outward like it wasn't resisting at all, like something inside was pushing. What were they carrying? I whisper, voice cracking. The answer hits like cold water. Not goods, not machinery, not chemicals, a payload, a sealed, unregistered payload, and the recorder, it caught something it wasn't supposed to catch, a voice or a frequency, or whatever version of a heartbeat a thing like that might have. The report said the fire burned for 3 days. They never said why. I angle the recorder closer to my ear. Stupid, reckless, but necessary. Static hums faintly, then a click, like metal tapping metal. Then something underneath the static shifts, a low note, a vibration, a sound that feels like it isn't traveling through air, but through bone. I jerk the recorder away, clutching my jaw. The vibration rattles behind my teeth. It's the same frequency I heard the first time the train appeared. The same one I've heard in my skull for weeks, months, maybe years. That's when the realization finally lands. The kind that makes your blood feel heavier. It didn't choose me tonight. It's been choosing me. The loop has limits, requirements, a time, a humidity level, a temperature drop, a presence, someone who can hear the signal, someone who can feel the frequency behind the metal, someone whose mind already cracks along the same fault lines. Someone like me. No, I whisper. My voice barely comes out. No, no, no. A wind gust kicks up ash from the ditch, swirling it around me in a slow spiral. The air tastes burnt again, like the loop is breathing through the ground. I don't want to look toward the tracks, but I can't help it. The fog shifts, just a little, just enough, and for a split second, the engine's silhouette flickers through the white, like the loop is pressing its face against the skin of the present. It's coming back, faster this time, stronger. I clutch the recorder to my chest, knuckles white. My breath comes in sharp, uneven pulls. "Why me?" I choke out. The answer rises from the dirt, quiet as a whisper. "Because you heard us. I don't know if the voice is real, or memory, or just the echo of Lila's glitching form pulling at my sleeve." But the meaning lands clean. I'm the only one picking up the frequency. The only one tuned to the same crack in the world where this thing lives. And the loop isn't just replaying the crash, it's looking for something, a way out, a way in, or a way to make itself whole. The core pulses again, harder this time. When I lift it, the fog bends toward it, like air pulled into a vacuum. The rails hum under my boots. The air tightens around my throat. If I hold on to this thing, the loop will find me again. If I let it go, it'll find someone else. There's only one way to end a repeating memory. Cut the first point it returns to. Break the anchor, the core. My pulse pounds against the metal in my hands, syncing with its dying rhythm. The orange glow brightens, then fades, then brightens again. It's failing. But not fast enough. Not before the loop resets. I stand slowly. My legs feel hollow. My lungs burn like I've been breathing smoke for hours. "All right," I breathe out. "If you want me, you're going to have to face me." My voice shakes, but the words come anyway. I'm done running. I'm done pretending I don't hear it. Whatever's inside that freight car, so whatever crawled out of that fire, it knows me now. And I know it, and that means I can fight back. I tighten my grip on the recorder. The glow pulse syncs with my heartbeat. I know what I have to do. Use the core as a point of resistance, a counter frequency, a wedge between timelines, an anchor. But it also means stepping right into the loop again, letting it take me to the exact point where the memory is strongest. The derailed cars, the sealed freight car, the payload. "Jenna," I whisper into the dead radio, If you can hear me, I'm not coming back to the station yet. Static answers back. But this time, underneath the static, a faint rhythm taps in sync with the recorder, like something on the other end knows I'm listening. "Lucas," a voice crackles, half Jenna, half something else. "Don't go near." The radio cuts. I close my eyes, just for a second, not to calm down, just to accept it. When I open them, the fog is shifting again, the line between now and 2009 thinning like stretched plastic. I step toward the tracks. The recorder flares, burning my palm. The rails scream. Ash spirals upward in a tight funnel. The loop wants me. The loop remembers me. Good, because I'm going back into it on my terms this time. I lower my head, tighten my grip, and breathe one last steady breath. "All right," I whisper. "Let's finish this." And I walk straight toward the place the world is cracking open. Straight toward the freight cars, straight toward the payload, with the recorder core lighting the way like a dying, dangerous star. The fog folds inward as I step closer. The air pulls tight, like something huge is inhaling through the cracks in the world. The recorder bucks in my hand, burning hot, too hot to hold, but I can't let go. Then the ground drops out from under me, light, heat, a roar that shakes through my bones, and everything goes white. When I open my eyes, the world feels wrong in a quieter way. The fire's gone. The screaming's gone. The rails aren't glowing or buckling or humming with the loop. It's morning. Pale light pushes through the fog like it's afraid to touch anything. Dew covers the dirt around me, beating on the twisted grass. My breath ghosts out in small, shaky bursts. For a second, I can't tell if I'm still inside the loop or if the loop finally spat me out. My hands are the first thing I notice. Black smudges across my palms, not soot, not dirt, tro. Embedded in the lines of my skin, sunk deep like it fused there. I try brushing it off. It doesn't move. A sick, cold feeling crawls into my chest. I stand slowly. My knees nearly buckle. Every muscle in me aches like I've run for miles, like I've been hauling weight through heat and smoke for hours. But the sun's barely up. There's no way I've been gone that long, unless time moved different inside the loop, unless it kept me longer than I realized. I try to piece together the last thing I remember. The recorder, the rails screaming, the payload pulling the world inside out, Lila's hand on my wrist. After that, nothing with edges, just flashes, noise, a darkness that didn't feel like darkness at all. The recorder core is gone. The dirt where I woke up is flattened, burned a little around the edges, like something heavy pressed into it before lifting away. I stagger back to the cruiser. The driver's door is still open from last night, the engine's off. The clock on the dash is blinking 2:17 a.m. in a loop it can't break. I turn the key. The screen flickers to the correct time, 7:42 a.m., 5 hours, or 1 minute, or 20 years. I can't tell. When I pull into the substation lot, Cole steps outside, rubbing sleep from his eyes. He looks annoyed at first. Then he stops moving. "You look like hell," he says. I start to answer, but a light drift of gray falls from my jacket as I step out of the cruiser. Cole's face tightens. "Man, is that ash? From where? There's no fire anywhere near us." "I know," I say. My voice sounds wrong to my own ears. He moves closer, like he's about to pat my shoulder, then thinks better of it. Inside the station, Jenna's voice cracks through the radio, casual, half awake, like none of it happened, like the world didn't crack open under my feet. But every few seconds, beneath her words, I hear it. A low horn, not loud enough to be real, not quiet enough to ignore. I glance toward the window. The tracks cut across the fields in a straight, perfect line. Still. Empty. Cole follows my eyes. "There's nothing out there," he says softly. I nod, but my heartbeat says otherwise, because last night wasn't the end. It wasn't even close. And this morning, when I finally sat down, hands still shaking, breath still uneven. I swear I heard it again. The horn, the rumble, the impossible weight rolling closer. Last night, I swear I heard it slow down for me.